Hi, folks. I'm Richard Friedman, and welcome to my Ukraine update and political cartoon countdown for March 15th, 2022. Before we get to the countdown today, I'm going to give you kind of an update on what's been going on with Ukraine. And here, you got the map here, and I think the most logical place to start is the focal point of Kiev. What's going on in Kiev? So here is Kiev on the map, and what's happening now is that the Russian forces are bombarding the hell out of that city, and they've already destroyed. The other day they took down one building. Now they took down a whole string of buildings, and it's a blitzkrieg on that city, and they're trying now to lay siege to that city. By siege means surrounding the city and cutting off from supplies as a prerequisite for actually going in there and taking the city. So they're coming up now from the south. They got all the other sides. The only side they haven't got is the south, and they're coming up here. They're coming up here from the south, which they've done much better in the south than they have done in the north, and now they're coming across the country, going towards the south here, trying to encircle Kiev completely, to starve the city out completely, either get them to surrender or to bombard the hell out of them, to the point that they lose their will to fight, which I don't think is going to happen. So that's the story here with Kiev. Plan. This is their focal point right now, and here is another point, which is this city here, which they've surrounded, and they're bombarding the hell out of this. This city is already encircled, and people there, I just heard, they have no water, and they're heating snow to get the water out of the snow for them to drink. In this city here, that's Mariupol. That's what's happening here. And this city here, this is Mariupol on the coast here. Okay, the city is encircled. Okay. Now here in Melitopol is where they've actually taken the city over. But they haven't. They have and they have not, because the people there are still protesting and fighting, and they arrested the mayor in Melitopol. They came in and arrested the mayor. It's like Dodge City. It's like out the Wild West. You know, if you ever watch westerns when you were a kid and see what's going on, it's like Dodge City out here in Melitopol. And if people are still fighting back and they're protesting in the midst of being occupied by the Russians. Here, Kherson, they've already taken that city, and the same thing is going on in Kherson, where that was the first city they took before they took this city, and they're protesting there too. And they're marching up, as you can see, they're marching up towards the north. Now, this city is Myaklavia now, which is coming under attack now, coming under attack, really heavy now, and the people are fighting back. So they want to take this city, Myaklavia, as a prerequisite again for going down, and they're going to take Myaklavia and use that as a bridge to take Odessa, and then cut their access to the seaport. Odessa is a seaport city, so they're going to cut access to supplies from the sea, from their supply being supplied from the sea. So they're really hot on getting Odessa now. That's a good seaport city for them to take control of, to block them from blocking their sea passage into the country from the sea, of getting supplies through there. So that's their other objective here in the south. to move to take Malakovia, to move from Kashan to Malakovia to Odessa. Here's Odessa, right on the sea here. So they're moving like that here. Now, as I said, Mariupol here is really what I heard just recently is in Mariupol. This I don't know if it's true or not, but I heard there's a small whisper going on that they're letting some people leave Mariupol. Some cars they let out of there. I don't know if it's I don't know the veracity of that, but it kind of just hinted at there's been some flexibility because it's a real horror story what's going on here in Mariupol. Okay, and so from here, like I said, they're going into Odessa, and just the other day, now they're moving west out here to get the supply routes that's coming here from Poland. Supplies coming in, so they want to block the supply routes. So they've been bombing out here, and they took out here in Lviv. They took out a military base right adjacent to the border with Poland, where the American soldiers trained the Ukrainian army and all that. And it's a base there, and they took that out. They took that out with basically with their air force over the Black Sea. They fired these targeted missiles, these guided missiles into here. So they didn't want to go over the Polish border. They just want to shake up the Poles a little bit, get them a little shaky, maybe that too. Another motive, but these were guided missiles that they used from planes that didn't even go into Ukraine. They fired them from the sea, and these missiles went into Lviv here. They also, aside from that, they took the airport out at Lutsk. They bombed the airport here at Lutsk, here. In Lutsk, right adjacent to that, there's an airport. They bombed that. So you can see what they're doing here. They don't want supplies coming into the country, basically. You see, because supplies coming in, flying in from Poland, they're trying to block out all the supplies, and they're trying to bomb all these towns and cities here and trying to get them from getting through to the east, to supply the east where all the action is still going on. Okay? So this is what's been happening now, and last 9 days. Okay, and what they're doing is the Russian forces are moving towards each other to kind of stitch it together, like they're trying to stitch the country together in a blanket, and they're moving their forces towards each other up here. To stitch it together up here. So I think I've covered it pretty well, just what's going on here. So the main action here, again, is they've taken this area up here. These towns hit Dnipro. They're surrounding Dnipro here. They've surrounded that. Dnipro is like a Grand Central Station that links up with the east here and the north and the south. So Dnipro is a target for them now. They've been bombing Dnipro. Okay, and so that's basically it here from the latest update. Okay, all right. They got the power on at Chernobyl. I heard they're concerned about Chernobyl, but someone mentioned they got the power, because if the power goes off at Chernobyl, they haven't got power to cool that stuff down. You could have a bad problem there. So that was the first thing they took when they came in. When they first came in, they came in from from Belarus here, and they came through Chernobyl, and they wanted They wanted to go right into Kyiv, figuring that the whole thing would collapse, and Zelensky would cave in, and boom. But it didn't work out that way. So now, so this is what they have here, and what they're doing is they're firing from outside these cities because they don't have the technique or the Ukrainians are putting up such a great fight. They can't go into the cities with men because it'd be like marching into a grinding machine. So they're staying outside the cities and they're sending the artillery in. Okay, here they use on this military base, they use these planes to launch these guided missiles in. They didn't even go into over the Ukraine. They did that from the sea. They launched these missiles into this military base. Okay. So I assume from Belarus they took out this airport in Lusk. Belarus is playing a central role here militarily in helping them many ways. You can see that here in the north. Okay. All right, so that's the story there. All right, now for the countdown. Starting off, I have 6 cartoons today. Starting off with numero 6. Starting off with numero 6 de la semana, number 6 of the week, is something I just completed yesterday, and this regards that young lady who was an editor at the Russian State Channel 1, which the heroic thing she did there, and I did this cartoon that how Putin might have responded to that event, trying to get some good publicity from that. Okay, there's Tucker Carlson, Fox News, and here's the introduction to this cartoon, number 6. We go up, it's a cartoon countdown, we go from number 6 to number 1 of the week, based upon impressions on Twitter. Putin calling his contact in U.S. for more sound bites on Tucker Carlson amid watching his favorite Fox News host expound on a crazy, unfounded, and U.S.-denied theory of U.S. biological weapons programs being funded in Ukraine, and other past comments. So all this is going on. The Russians now are circulating this as laying the groundwork. People are saying possibly for using chemical weapons or biological weapons themselves. So they're looking to spread these rumors around. And again, it's a defensive action, just like it was a defensive action when they came in there to denazify. So now they're doing this. They're using the same game plan, same playbook, only they're talking about now biological weapons as a prerequisite for them to go in there with that other stuff. And if they do that, just in my opinion, I think we have to really we can't go to sanctions. We can't talk about all kinds of economic penalties. I think we really have to go to the battlefield, not to fight World War III, but we really have to do something to protect the people of Ukraine from chemical weapons militarily, some way. So I ain't no military strategist or former Marine or Air Force man, but I'm just talking logistically from everything I see and hear. I'm telling you that if we start talking about sanctions and they start and saying, well, we don't want to mess with Russia and this kind of talk, it ain't good. I think we just be quiet about that business and just say we're going to do what we have to do to protect the people of Ukraine from a chemical weapon attack, and leave it at that. So, but we're not saying that, but I think we should. Anyway, so here is the, again, I kind of lost it here for a second. Okay, the theory of U.S. biological weapons programs being funded in Ukraine. Again, that's the idea of laying the groundwork for that. In the wake of Marina Ovsinovika, an editor at Russian state-run Channel 1, It's a state-run place that's controlled by the Russian government, Putin, interrupting a live broadcast with a sign that read, "No War." You saw on TV she came in with this "No War," just big "No War" sign, and other stuff was in Russian. Okay, so then here's President Putin now trying to counteract this bad publicity that he got. So he's calling his contact in America to get Tucker Carlson here to come up with something to really offset this this disastrous broadcast, and that's my that's the scheme of this cartoon. So here's Tucker. He's watching replays of Tucker Carlson. These are replays. Someone needs to explain while there are dangerous biological U.S. weapons in Ukraine. This is what Carlson said. He said that someone needs to explain that. Like and why shouldn't I root for Russia, which I am? He said that too. So then I have here Putin in Russian saying, "How are you?" In Spanish it's "Cómo está?" In English it's "How are you?" Something like that. Tell Fox News we need more sound bites from our friend Tucker, since he said America should stay out of the border dispute between Russia and Ukraine. A border dispute, some border dispute. Some at the Kremlin call him our Tukorsky in America. I kind of made that one up. Tukorsky. That's really his name here from what he speaks, because our American government has denied any kind of you see, the idea is they confused the research that's being done is for disease research. So they're doing bio research on diseases. They're not doing bio-warfare research. There's a big difference between saving lives and wanting to kill people. Big difference. They're trying to save lives with bio-research. So Tucker here is saying that they're doing this for biochemical development, to kill people. Big difference there, very big difference. But this is his take. That was Tucker Carlson's take there. And it's no wonder that the Russians like him, and maybe some of them do call him Tukorsky. Maybe they do. Okay, there he is. Tucker Carlson. Putin at his desk watching him, making the phone call. There you have it. There it is. Okay. Número 5 de la semana, number 5 of the week. Here we have Putin in an F-22 with a jet with a Chinese flag on it, designed by former President Trump himself, because he came up with this idea. He's more creative than I am. Trump dream. This is reflecting his fixation on Hillary Clinton's emails. And given the former president he joked around Saturday, a couple of weeks ago, that the U.S. should label its F-22 planes with the Chinese flag and, quote, bomb the shit out of Russia. And then say, China did it, we didn't do it. Then they start fighting with each other, and we sit back and watch. As President Trump, former president's word for word, what he said to a bunch of, to his Republican people at a Republican donor, at a donation dinner, he said that to these people who paid lots of money to hear him say these things. Probably, I'm sure they had a lot of good food. But they paid a lot of money to be there at the table to hear this. Okay, so what I did was having former President Trump having a dream about this. He's dreaming about after that donor, he comes back to Mar-a-Lago and he dreams about him flying a F-22 with with a Chinese flag over Moscow. There's Moscow below. You see? There's Moscow. There's the Kremlin. Okay, there's Moscow. And he's flying around, you know, up there in the sky. He's flying. There he goes. He's flying. And then he's saying, President Putin, if you're listening, there is still time to find me the 30,000 Hillary Clinton emails that are still missing. I love flying over your beautiful Moscow. Still time to do a Trump Tower Moscow deal too, because Trump was negotiating a Moscow deal on a Trump tower in Moscow, the way that kind of like he had on Fifth Avenue in Manhattan, some type of structure like that. So he was wanting to build one in Moscow. It didn't work out, but there's still time while he's flying over there in an F-22 with a Chinese flag on it to say it's still time to do the deal. So there you have it. A dream. There he is, dreaming this up. After he said it himself in his own words. Joking, of course, joking about it. You know, but still in all, he said it. And there he is. There he goes. Okay. All right. Número 4 de la semana. Number 4 of the week. Okay. Here, if you said, well, you who saw The Wizard of Oz, remember the Wicked Witch of the West? When Dorothy meets up with the Wicked Witch of the West with her little doggy, Toto. Remember Dorothy, little dog, Toto? Remember Somewhere Over the Rainbow, Judy Garland? Judy Garland was in that movie, and she sang Somewhere Over the Rainbow. Remember that? So this is based upon that movie, The Wizard of Oz. The past humanitarian corridors offered by the Russians to Ukraine people of Chernihiv to Russia, symbolized by the Wicked Witch of the West from The Wizard of Oz. So the Russians offered the people up there in the north, in Chernihiv, and basically here in Chernihiv, people in Chernihiv here in the north, that if they wanted to escape this horrific bombardment of their artillery, they could escape back into Russia. There's also Belarus, but these people here were offered the Russian alternative, going back to the people to live with the people who are bombing you. I mean, that's very, that's going to be your neighbor. The people who are bombing you out of your home are now going to be your neighbors. Very nice arrangement there, So here I have the people living here, and then you have it's like going to the Wicked Witch of the West, sending them into the arms of the Wicked Witch of the West, saying, welcome to Mother Russia, my pretties, and we will take care of your little doggies too. Meaning, you remember the little dog Toto, and Dorothy and her little dog Toto, and that's where it came from. There it is. Zoom in on the Wicked Witch of the West there. There's the Wicked Witch of the West. Welcome, my pretties, to Mother Russia. We'll take care of your little doggies too. There. Okay. There. All right. Okay, next one, we're getting down there. Here is Russia's Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov. Okay, here we go with Sergei, here he is. Let's focus in on him. There he is. Okay. Memories of him in President Trump's office when they closed the door and they went in with his then Secretary of State, and they closed the door on everybody. They all went in together and said bye. I just have memories of that with Sergei there, and the Exxon the Exxon president, who was a Secretary of State, and they all went in together into the Oval Office with Trump. Just kind of froze in my memory that from a while ago. But that's how I remember Sergei Lavrov. Okay. Given Russia's Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov in a press conference after meeting Ukraine's Foreign Minister for talks in Antalya, Turkey, on March 10th, claimed Russia did not attack Ukraine. He's saying that Russia did not attack Ukraine, and you've got all these tanks and artillery firing at these cities, but we didn't attack. His rationale, he rationalizes it by saying it was the situation in Ukraine that brought us in there. We had no choice, okay? That posed a direct threat to the Russian. There's a situation in Ukraine that posed, quote, a direct threat to the Russian Federation. Adding, last month, President Putin said an aim was the, quote, denazification of Ukraine. You know, they got a Jewish president. Zelensky's Jewish, and he's the head of a Nazi government. They're saying we have to get rid of all his Nazis, and that's why we're going in there, and to demilitarize them as well. Okay, and they're going in with all this business, you know. A future Lavrov press conference should the Russians take Kiev and install their own government bent on, quote, denazification. So here is Lavrov go off a bit 1,000,000 times if they take Kiev, but if they take it, the people are going to still be fighting there. But the danger is what you're going to have here is you're going to have a failed state, and you're going to have all these people that they're going to bring in. The Russians are going to bring in the Syrians, Libyans, these mercenary fighters, and they're going to bring them in, and the Ukrainians going to bring in their people, and pretty soon you ain't going to know what's going on in that area, and then there's going to be encroachment on Poland. So the Russians will say, well, it wasn't us, it was the Syrians who fired that missile into Poland. Okay, then what do you do? Then what do you do then? You know, no one's thought of this yet. I'm just thinking of it. What do you do then? Huh? The Syrians did it, so we go bomb Syria. The NATO goes after Syria. What will you do then? That's why we cannot permit, under no circumstances, we can't permit that Kiev to fall, and we've got to do everything we can to stop it. And that's my opinion. And I ain't going to go any farther than that because I don't want to speak against the President of the United States, but that's my opinion. Okay, now here is okay. Hi, so here he is taking Kiev, and here's his statement now. Here is Lavrov. Denazification leader Heinrich Kessler. Here's Heinrich Kessler. There's the denazification leader that the Russians are putting in charge of Ukraine's denazification program. Heinrich Kessler, you know who that rhymes with. And his colonel, Hermann Schliemann, here's Hermann Schliemann, and here's Kessler, and they're going to be in charge of the denazification program of Ukraine. These two gentlemen will be in charge, and they're all saluting allegiance to Vladimir Putin here. Okay, Schliemann here will be in charge of our denazification program for Ukraine. They have both sworn allegiance to President Putin. So here again, you have Sergei Lavrov, and you have here his denazification team leadership. Okay, numero 5 de la semana. Here we go. This is number 2 of the week. Number 2, numero 2 de la semana. number 2 of the week. Here we have Putin. This is completely my story, but you never know. You know, Putin may have gotten lonely and he had nothing to do. He went out to a pet shop in Moscow. Nice and peaceful in Moscow. You can go anywhere you want. It's peaceful. I mean, it's for the rioting people who are rioting, and maybe not so peaceful now. Maybe he can't go out to a pet shop now because of all the rioting and stuff. Probably not. People have really this is really something going on there, and they've arrested thousands of people already. So maybe not. But maybe this was a pet shop close to the Kremlin. Maybe it was just a little around the corner, you know, of the Kremlin. You know, so maybe he was able to sneak out of the Kremlin for a few minutes and go to this pet shop. And that's what this says here. This says here, pet shop for parrots, parrot pet shop here. That's what it says in Russian. Okay. Parrot pet shop on top. Okay. So Putin visits Moscow pet shop and meets with Boris the parrot amid the Russian president signing a law that bans journalists from calling the Ukraine war a war or an invasion at 15 years, with sentences up to 15 years in prison for people who distribute false news about the Russian military. Now, I just heard that that lady, that young girl who went up and flashed that sign, they gave her a relatively light sentence. They fined her, maybe like in American money, it's $200. And she seems to be getting, they don't want to make a lot of waves now with what's going on, so they're giving her, it appears now, who knows? We don't know for sure. It just appears that way, that they're giving her a slap on the wrist, you know? So, you never know. You never know, but that's how it appears right now. So, let's hope for the best on that. So here it is. Now here's the bird. Here's more. So here's the bird. Boris. This is Boris. Boris the parrot encountering Putin, or Putin encountering the Boris the parrot. More better put. Okay, and Boris says, "Buy Boris today, low price." And Putin joking around. He don't want no part of Boris, you know. And he says, Boris want a cracker? You know, I probably want a cracker. Boris want a cracker? You know, kind of humoring the bird a little bit. And then Boris says, Putin want to end war? And then Putin says, Boris want 15 years in Gulag pirate camp? Gulag pirate camp for Boris the parrot? And then Boris says, Boris want exile in warm Miami parrot jungle down here, you know, down in Florida. Warm Miami parrot jungle. And then Putin that ain't going to happen to Boris. He ain't going there. And then Putin says, Boris want exile in East Siberia with lots of ancient parrot remains. They have ancient remains in East Siberia of ancient parrots. It's true. And then the bird says, Boris the parrot says, Putin, that's a lot of frozen bird shit, you know? So he answers him back. Bravely answers Putin back. Here, the bird, and that's it. That's the encounter. And this I wrote in Russian. Bird, pet shop, bird pet shop. Okay. There it is. All right. Okay, there's Boris the parrot. There's President Putin. Okay. All right, numero uno de la semana, number 1 of the week. And this is really not a cartoon. I did this to express what was going on in Kiev yesterday, and it was number 1. I didn't really mean it to be a cartoon. It's not really meant to be. It's meant to be more of a documentary, a visualization of the bravery of a young boy who stuck the flag out the window after his building was bombed and remained in the building throughout the whole pummeling of the building. He stayed there, and it was done. And when the bombing of that was just one building yesterday. When that one building was hit, today they took a whole block of buildings out. They pummeled the whole area. But who knows? But I'm just saying that was yesterday when they hit just one building, and this was the building they hit yesterday in Kiev, which was like an entree of what was to come. So he had the bravery to stay in the building. He was brave enough to stay in the building, and here he is waving the Ukraine flag. Okay, and I have him here waving the Ukraine flag here from a building, that one building that was bombed yesterday in Kiev, symbolizing the will of the Ukraine people. This is not to be a comedy. This is to be more of a documentary, and I did it to reflect that in a cartoon. And it was number one. So I don't really consider it a cartoon. I consider it a documentary on the bravery and the will of the Ukrainian people, and I decided to draw it, not to make a statement. And there it is, okay? There it is. You can see the building's lopsided. The building was hit, and it's lopsided, and he's the only one there, and all the apartments are blacked out, and there he is waving the Ukrainian flag. Take it back a little bit there. There. Okay, there it is. You see all the debris and everything like that of what's going on here and everything. The debris and the windows are all bombed out. He's just there by himself waving the flag. Okay, let me zoom in a little bit on that. There. Okay. All right, we know what happened today. All right, folks, I want to thank you very much for watching my cartoon countdown. This little bit of a documentary and the update on Ukraine today. And you take care of yourself. And we say a prayer. We have to say our prayers for the people of Ukraine and for the people who left their country, their mother country, and are now in other countries, having to start a new life. And the families that were broken, and the people who are left behind, and the people who are coming in to the country to fight for Ukraine, and also there are people actually who left and are coming back into Ukraine to fight. People who left and decide they want to come back to fight, and all those people, we have to say our prayers for them. And I wish you all the best, folks, and you take care. And God bless you, and God bless America. Take care, folks. See you next time. Bye.